scene. But to focus on the topic, I'm on a call on Patreon, right? And me and a guy are talking, going back and forth, and he was like, "How do I be seductive?" Right? And as y'all know, if you're not new to the channel, we've been reading this book, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. But book to the side. I call myself the seductive.
My bad for that alien noise. But anyway, seduction never sleeps, man. Me and Zay, it was kind of interesting because you know what I'm saying. We playing video games, bro. It's some way we got to debate seduction. The word seduction itself, right? And I already know Zay points. Well, not already know, but Zay took an angle for, oh, look at the definition on Google. And hopefully YouTube don't fucking strike me for this. But Zay perception of seduction. If it's a male seducing a female. If it's a female seducing a male. All for sexual pleasure. All for sex. That's it. That's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? And me, I know that seduction is a lot more than just sex. Like, it was saying that flirting with someone and seducing someone is the same as that thing. I would like say, if I seducing somebody and if I flirting with somebody, those are two completely different intentions, which means I would get a different result for each and every single one of them. Now, yes, you can play this seduction role. Like, seducing somebody is not just this one-time thing, though. Like, it's you. Like, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress, the way you have the outlook on your life. You feel me? And I already know this, but seducing somebody doesn't always have to be sex. You can, I know niggas like to say no diddy, but I'm somewhat old school and in new school age. Even though I'm 20, I'm somewhat old school. So I'm used to saying no homo. No homo. But if a man seduce a man can seduce a man to gain power over that person in the job position. Well, not even power. It's the attention you have behind it. But like, you can, as a man, you can seduce a man to push you up in a higher position in life. I mean, well, not in life, but let's just say a job. Like, it don't have to be sexual, and it don't gotta be. It does nothing about it gotta be sexual at all. You is the seduction. You is the person. But for Zay's point of view, it's only sex. It's only male and female. You feel me? I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's his point of view. But to me, it's very limited. Like, my example that I used was, like, you can, like, a artist can seduce a crowd of people. An artist can seduce a crowd of people. You feel me? And then he had made the example of being aroused. He made the example of being aroused can be two different things. It could be sexual and it could be like excitement, like you being aroused. So I was like, so you can't have seducing or seduction, two different things. You feel me? Like, it's only sex. And the first thing I think of when you say arousement, I think of somebody getting aroused, like somebody getting sexually stimulated. You know what I'm saying? But he used the example of being excited. So I was like, huh? But anyway, like, you can literally seduce a crowd of people. You feel me? Like, You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, "Oh, if you say this in the real world, it gonna sound crazy. Like, oh, I'm trying to seduce you. It's not me having the intention to seduce the person. It's like me just interacting with that person is a seductive thing, regardless. Like, I'm seducing without trying to. If you get what I'm trying to say, like, I don't know. And it's not a one-time thing. It could be a lifelong thing. You seducing people can be a lifelong thing. I ain't saying seduce. I don't. Of course, I'm still learning about my own game, but it's like I just know for right now that seduction is a lot more than just sex. Anybody can have sex. Anybody can pay for it. And it's definitely a difference between a female wanting you to fuck and letting you to fuck, and that go for a woman too. It's a difference between a man want to fuck you and letting, and well, I was just gonna speak from the man perspective. It's a difference when a girl wants you to fuck her and letting you fuck her. Two completely different animals inside the bedroom. But it's just, man, that nigga say, bro, I fuck with my butt, that my dog. But, like, that's such a limited mindset, bro. But anyway, let's move on to the video.
Because I know that has always been one of my greatest strengths in the game, period. And y'all have to realize, my job when I make these videos is it's not even about the women. It's for y'all to see the bigger picture. And I say that to say, when we get into this book and when we get into life, period, I felt and I knew that I had a natural skill for seduction and a natural knack for seducing people, not just women, but also men. And if you know anything about seduction, seduction is not always sexual. Seduction, and this is understanding seduction in itself. So
Right.
going back to the call when a guy asked me,
And I'm not just restating what he said, cause you know what I'm saying. I am agreeing on a lot of points that he's saying. So I know it sounds like you just saying what he's, but if you really come at it from an angle of open-mindedness, it'd be like, huh, this nigga really spit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just, I don't know, man. This nigga Zay said it's only for sexual thing. Like, you can be like connected with somebody and don't have sex with them, and you can have sex with somebody and not be connected with them at all. So it's like, all I know is that I know what the fuck I'm, you know what I'm saying? I know what I'm standing on. I know the business that I'm standing on, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that is my final point. Seduction is like you yourself, like the way how you think, the way how you have, the way you view the world can play a role in your seduction. Well, it is the role in your seduction, because if you go into this life thinking I gotta be this or I gotta be that, or it's only this and it's only that, you know what I'm saying? Now for certain things, yes, you know what I'm saying? If you made a rule in your life to where this rule is final and somebody crossed that line, it's over with, then that's the rule you set. But I'm talking about something completely different though. Like, if you have a belief about something and you just like limit it, like you just, it's only this, like that level 1 bot mentality. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to like make you feel below because of your thinking. Your thinking might have made you some progress in your life. But in my opinion, it is kind of low to just only have this. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I was open to hear what Zay had to say. You know? But seduction is a lot more than just sex, bro. Like, it's a lot more than just sex. Like, I'm finna seduce this person just to have... Like, why seduce a person just for that reason alone? You know what I'm saying? Like, that just can be a byproduct of that, but that's the only reason why you took it that far. That's the only thing you doing, just like, bro, you could have got that gold. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, my final 2 cents before I let Taekwondo speak and I play my guitar is your outlook on life can play a role in your seduction. Because if you have limited beliefs, that is limited you from you thinking of what you could be or what you should be. You know, for example, Prince had women, but on the outside looking in, oh, he's feminine and he wears makeup and all that. But from the inside looking in, Prince have this certain outlook on life. The women still love him. He even had, he was married, he had a baby, RIP to the baby, but, just because he dressed like this make him, like, homo? Like, what? Okay. I'll let y'all have y'all, you know what I'm saying, but,
How do I be more seductive? You can understand how that is the wrong question. So like I said, this has to be a freestyle because I'm not copying from the book or taking knowledge from the book. This is just pure me and putting all the pieces together and help you understand why you're not seductive, and it'll all make sense.
I want to do this real
quick. The first thing I want to do is, let's pull up some definitions, right? So you can't see because I had this taken off probably from like a past stream or something like that. But I'm gonna zoom in, right? I'm gonna really paint this picture. I'm gonna take it there, y'all. We're gonna teach it like a little presentation because it's gonna get deep. Let's just take this definition. I want y'all to see something. I want y'all to notice how this loops backwards. So we gotta have some understanding of just the word itself, the definition of the word itself. Seduction, right? The act of seducing someone, a tempting or attractive thing. Okay. So we go, well, what's the definition of attractive? Pleasing or appealing to the senses. Appealing to look at, sexually alluring. Okay. Having beneficial qualities or features that induce someone to accept what is being offered, right? Okay. So then let's zoom in on this word. Alluring. Alluring definition. Powerfully and mysteriously attractive or fascinating. Seductive. And guess what? Like I said, it all loops. You finish right where you started. And I wanted to bring these definitions up. I wanted to show y'all this because I'm going to key in on a couple things that's going to help you understand why you're not seductive. Catch this. Mysterious. Fascinating. Catch that word. Then we go back to attractive. Alluring. We understand what this is. An appealing to look at. Appealing to the senses. Right? Going back to seduction. Tempting or attractive thing. Now, thinking of seduction in a one-way direction, automatically what you're going to say to yourself is, well, I just want to seduce that girl. I want her to want me in the most nasty, freaky, demon time way possible. Y'all know sending Dooney demons to Dooney land in the back of the Dooney van, straight to the gulag. But listen, seduction is from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. So I say that to say, you really got to stick with me in this video because we're going to get deep. We're going to get deep. Just trust. It's going to change how you look at seduction. A lot of times when I talk about seduction, it's been like I said, it's from some material. The book, us reacting to something, me breaking down. I've never really been able to paint that picture to y'all holistically and really get y'all to understand it. So seduction takes many forms, right? The biggest understanding you need to have about seduction is like it was pointed out in that definition, the mysterious side of it, the alluring
Oh, that's
side,
the wrong. Nope.
the attractive side of it. And let me keep it this simple. What is more attractive and alluring and fascinating and mysterious than something you've never seen before or encountered? But catch this. A true master of seduction realizes there's no defense for it.
Listen to it.
There is no defense for true seduction because you cannot prepare for it.
Now your turn.
You cannot prepare for it. The only battle in it is if you're dealing with someone who understands the game, but it's not a game in a sense to be won or a battle against the other person, but the sport, the fun, the competitive nature of it, which it becomes when you're dealing with another master of seduction, is that they are just as in tune with themselves as you are in tune with yourself. So then the game only begins because now what the both of you are doing is providing unique experiences and introducing aspects of each other that you've never seen in yourself, but you already have because you're that deep of a person. Now that's a deep thing to say, right? Let's take a couple steps back. Right?
Let's try it again. A little slower.
That's an important part of the video. I hope you heard that part completely. Into understanding that what is more seductive, fascinating, mysterious than something you've never seen before or been introduced to. So for example, I'll give you an example.
All right.
A lot of times when I mess with a woman, right, I'll say something to them like,
It's really not bad at all. Just play it low.
I have to reintroduce you to yourself.
Lower down without re-wicking.
And this, like I said, this is all the freestyle part. I'm going to tell you my natural inclination to seduction and how I began to understand why I am such a seductive person over these years and been able to perfect it. It comes from the simple fact that the same reason why you're not seductive.
Let's try that again.
Here, all up here. When you, guess what? Because when you think the same, and then when you act the same, and you react the same, as every other person he or she is going to encounter, you can never be seductive. You can never be seductive. And this is where even with the art of seduction, we put this to the side, right? Because it talks about the aspect of seduction where people are mirrored, right? And they get a sense of comfort around you from the fact that you make them feel at home. You make them feel seen or related to. But I'll put my own touch on that from a natural perspective of a seducer, not some study or something like that. Because it only works backwards, right? This book has only allowed me to see things and sharpen it and find it in a certain way. But coming from a natural seducer, there's certain things that you can never write or study down. You understand what I'm saying? And I say that to say not to degrade or debunk the book, but I'm just saying that now let's add this inner perspective.
Planning for your retirement, and you can check out Webull. Webull provides all-around IRA account types, including traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and rollover IRA. With your IRA account, you have two paths to grow your money. You can take control and trade on your own.
You're missing out on your greatest seductive element because I'm gonna just take this perspective. Even if you're a woman watching this, even if you identify as any other gender, and what you're attracting is not a woman or a man, I'm gonna just focus in on this for a second. I'm gonna attack all sides, but I'm gonna focus in on this for a second. Let's say you're a man, right? For the sake of what I'm about to say, and you want to seduce that woman, right? The main reason you won't be seductive, like I said, is that if you think the same, feel the same, and act the same as everyone else. Why? Because when we looked at the definition of seduction, and we went through attractive and alluring, all in the order, right? And we seen that there are keywords that are like fascinating or mysterious. The most shocking thing about seduction is that the person being seduced can never quite put their finger on why you're seducing.
Let's try that again.
That's the same reason why there is no defense against a true seducer, because it is such an unknown and new thing that they've encountered, that attractiveness, that pull, that lure, that mysterious fascination that they have comes from the simple fact that they don't know how to deal with you. They can't.
Let's try it again.
They can't.
Slower.
They can't do to you what they do to everybody else, which is categorize them. Oh, this person is. Let's just take stereotypes.
Let's try that a little slower.
This person
Build up
is
speed.
a player. This person is whatever title comes with labeling an individual, right?
Let's try that a little
The thing that will make you more seductive is when you are fluid. And you only become fluid when you understand who you are, and when you understand why you are, how you are, and who you are. And see, this is where we get into the spiritual side, which makes seduction so powerful, because, and when I say spirituality, drop the images in your head that attach spirituality to your religion. Let's just think of self right now, and self, of understanding yourself, right? And you may say, well, what does this have to do with seduction? Everything. Everything. Let's take extremely seductive people, for example, right? I go Prince and then I go into myself, right? Let's take Prince. Prince had this extremely feminine physical appearance. Prince was 5'2", dressed like, very feminine, wore heels, wore very feminine attire, wore makeup and mascara, and all of the above, right? Prince's tone of voice was masculine. His passion was masculine. His spiritual side was very masculine. Even though if you understand anything about the masculine and feminine, it is not just a spectrum, but a sort of balance, a sort of something you could play between. You are not seductive. Let's take that again. You're not seductive because you were told how to be masculine as a man or how to be feminine as a woman, right? So when you sign up to what you were given, right? Seduction is above and beyond and outside of the box. You're in the box. You cannot be seductive. And this even plays into intimacy, right? Into me, I say, you could have sex with somebody and never be intimate.
Here's that riff
You can be
again.
intimate with
Let's
somebody
just
and
listen
never
to
have
it.
sex.
You can play after that.
The two are separate. And it may seem like I'm preaching, but I want to make this as simple as possible for you people. For I say you people, that sounds like I'm fucking a racist person or something like that. But whatever, I'm just saying whoever's watching this. And I want this to be a general message because I want y'all to understand, even if my audience is predominantly male, seduction transcends your gender identity, or you even as you as a man, because you can use seduction in so many different ways. You can be seductive to that woman that you want. You could be seductive to your manager, and eventually get a promotion. You could be seductive to your customers as a businessman or entrepreneur. You could be seductive at a networking event. You could be seductive in any situation. It transcends just the sexual element of seduction. That is a whole nother page in itself. But to focus on the grand scheme of things, you have to at least see the frame of the picture to even get into the details. So tying in, being inside of the box and being like everyone else, and why you're not seductive. Simply put, you can never be seductive if you cannot provide something to the world, not just that woman or that man or that boss or that situation, but to the world that it has never seen before. And guess what? You would think that, let's say everyone wants to be
I will be right back.
uniquely in who they are and in themselves, right? Well then, no one's different if everyone's different, right? Wrong. Because you'll start to realize that there is no you. You could be born identical twins. And this is the whole experiment of nature versus nurture. You could be born identical twins, separate situations, same house. You could even have two kids under the same parents and same everything, and they'll still turn out differently. But you see, when you run from yourself and you run closer to what society accepts you for, you're running farther away from seduction, because seduction is here. It just is this. I'll take an example of, imagine a crowd, right? Imagine a crowd. The crowd runs this way towards that trend, and I'm standing here. The crowd runs that way towards this trend, and I'm standing here. What is more fascinating and alluring and mysterious to why I'm standing there? That's the seduction. When everyone is running this, when everyone is running that way, when everyone's talking about this and talking about that, and being this or being that, and I am being myself and thinking outside of the box, beyond what I was taught, beyond what I was told to think and how I'm supposed to be. And even we're at the point where, guess what? I'll play with people's perceptions in itself. I love playing into people's perceptions and flipping that on the top side of his head. I'll never forget, I'll give you an example of seduction. In a random example. I had let's say in my high school year, when I was taking pre-calculus, right? I would be, even in school period, right? Now mind you, I'm from Philly, I'm 20 years old. There's a lot of things you wouldn't know about me just looking at me, right? Just based on how I act and how I am, right? Now listen, one thing about me is I dress a certain way and I talk a certain way. It just comes from being from Philly, growing up in the hood, and just being how I am as a person. Now, I'm already knowing, let's say, guess who add this into it? I have tattoos, right? I'm African-American male. There are a lot of things that people put on me with these standards of identity that they associate me with. These are perfect opportunities for seduction, because guess what? I can play into that and be as different as you've never seen before. So you may know, I grew up, let's say this part of Philly, I'm this whatever years old, and you may expect certain things from me. But then when I am something uniquely different, that already adds into your seduction. So let me give you an example. I used to do this consciously during high school. I would be, let's say, bro, I just got on some regular shit right now, right? I got on Nike Tech pants and my boy UB's Millionaire Methods merch. You know what I'm saying? It's clothing brand. Black businesses is my design. You ain't gonna catch me in too much design and no crazy shit, right?
Champions League final. This is as big as it gets. The kings of the Champions League. Let us knock it down. This is the final round.
Dortmund versus Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League final, streaming live on Paramount Plus.
But listen, it's besides the point. I would go in school, right? Now, mind you, I'm around a bunch of intelligent people. I'm taking a hard course, pre-calculus, and I ended up taking calculus in college, and statistics and all of the above, right? In all of these settings, I never changed how I dressed or how I talked, right? And taken to the fact that I would be as intelligent as I was. I got an 88 in calculus in college, and I was doing smack good in pre-calc in high school at the time, right? Now listen, there's a certain identity that we even associate with intelligence. Let's just be real. Let's be honest here. Just naturally, from what society has taught us or what we have associated smart people with in the past. Glasses, proper dressing, proper communication, and even stuff like that. Back then I used to get a kick out of looking like the worst example of an intelligent man that you would see. I'd be sagging. I just got pure Philly lingo. I'm rough around the edges, all of the above. And I know that's where the seduction comes in, because guess what? You're the average person that I run into is looking here. They're looking down here. And then by the time I open my mouth, or I'm talking about something, or I may go on the board and execute a problem flawlessly, or I may explain a concept deeply, even how I do now, right? They may sit here and just, this is the most fascinating and shocking thing that they've seen, because what I portrayed and who I actually am is two different things. I portrayed this this image of this, what they would perceive as a hood person, of, you know, tough, or, you know, doesn't care about school, or whatever ideas and perception they have associated with that, right? And then here you are, I'm a full-on geek. I'm a full-on math worm, bookworm, whatever the case may be. And then I can still play into all sides of the spectrum of my identity because I am fluid. And that's the most seductive element, is that at the same time, yes, bookworm, smart, educated, whatever the case may be, right? And then it still had that attitude or side of myself. Fuck wrong with you? Fuck type time you on? Yeah, I smack the shit. But guess what? That is a whole other side of mysteriousness and just playing into the element of seduction. Now keep in mind, I say these examples to say, you compare that, take that small example, you take Prince being, you know, his physical appearance, the feminine thing, and then having the masculine voice and the deep thinking and all that. It all started here. From a master seducer point of view, it all started here. Because I am free and I am fluid, I am able to recognize what controls you, what limits you, and what binds you, what ideas and concepts and identity you sign up to without even realizing it. And then guess what? I get to send the Trojan horse, or the iron fist to the velvet glove. And I get to play with the strings and puppet of your perception and who I am. And then, listen, I hope that I'm not making this too deep. So I'm gonna just, and you know what me, and if you watch my channel before, there's no such thing as too deep with me. I can go on and on and on, and it can get deeper and deeper and deeper. See, the difference between me saying this and recording this video freestyle is that when I get to talking, I just get to talking. So I'm gonna take a sip of my water and I'm gonna slow down for a second, right? And I want y'all to realize that the most powerful thing about seduction is the fact that it is sort of this unknown thing. It's not simply being unknown. It's simply being different, or strange, or unique. But it's from the point of a master seducer, and it might even sound weird, like, oh, you call yourself a master seducer, sensei of seduction. Other than this video, I don't in real life go around saying or thinking in my head, oh yeah, I'm a master of seduction, I'm the sensei of seduction. I just do. I just seduce. I just interact with where I interact with people. It's nothing grand and extreme and like toting this huge fat ass head around, and I'm just think I'm the man, right? It's nothing to do with that. And even in doing so, your ego is getting in the way of your true seduction, because seduction has nothing to do with the ego. In order to truly be seductive, you gotta get rid of that, because then, guess what? This ego will play into someone else's agenda, someone else's narrative, so you cannot create your own. You're not fluid. You're not free. So guess what? I said that seduction starts here in the beginning of this video because when you are not free here, you can never be free here. In what you wear, in what you say, and how you say it, and what you do. You'll always be looking for what? Conformity. You'll always be looking for, you know, others' approval, validation. Your sense of self-esteem will be placed upon how good you can be in others' point of views and opinions, and how successful you are to their standard. And when you're a true seducer, you cannot do that. Because guess what? Seduction can be so unique that, guess what? I may say something to a woman that another person may say, what the fuck? Yo, that was weird, or blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, she's locked into the conversation. I mean, let's just take the internet examples. And I don't even like to use these internet examples, which you can see on a recording. And the fact that I can even do that so well, I just love it. But no, I'm not saying that in a bragging standpoint. A lot of your deeper seduction marinates. It's like a slow cooking meal. It's not microwavable. But the better you are at seduction, the quicker you are able to do it, because your uniqueness in what you are and who you are is at the tip of your tongue. And it is at the core and skin of your identity. So like a lot of times I tell you, I might get on a girl it might take that first FaceTime call and I already got it. And when I say it, I don't mean sex. I don't mean she's on my dick. I don't mean whatever. I've already put my brand in the sand. I've already made my imprint. I've already set myself up for the dime. It's already over. One FaceTime call. And I said it to say, it'll take me one conversation. Because I'm always me and I always know how to play in me. That sounds weird, but play in the role of me and how I articulate myself and use myself and just play around. And great examples of this is, let's say y'all watch these edits, right? And I hate to use these, right? Because I don't like using all this internet and all this whatever stuff, right? Let's take these edits. I have these different conversations with women. If you've never seen me on one, right? Watch the conversation. Watch how I ask the question. Watch how I play into this. And a lot of times, let's say when I went on the Gideon E-Date or Belu's E-Date or some of Melly's ones, right? And a lot of times I'm having this conversation with the woman. I can play with the dynamics of it. I'm in control, and I'm taking the conversation where I want to go with. I can flip the questions, put her in control. I can ask her a question and take it deeper than that. Or I can just play loosely through the conversation. And the reason I can do that is because I can fluidly sit there and say, well, how do I thread this needle? How do I get under the hood by looking this way? Do I go like this way? I can fluidly play her because I'm able to recognize her for who she is, even if she can't see it herself.
Let's try that again.
And that is a deep thing that you can only see when you're fluid, when you can only see when you're not so obsessed with yourself and you're not so attached with yourself that you see how others are attached to themselves. And what does this have to do with seduction? Well, if you watch those conversations that I have with them, it may even be like specifically, let's take the Belu Day or the Gideon one, or just whatever, right? Whatever conversation. And you may see from your standpoint, if you just watch it on the surface, you may look at it and be like, well, and like I said, I hate to even use these edits because this shit is a lot of shit, this internet shit, whatever the case may be. You may look at it from the surface, right? And look at how the comments react. And you may be like, it may look like nothing. That's the funny part. It may look like nothing. You may look at it and be like, like, that was a basic conversation, or that was a normal. See, what the average person is going to do is they're going to look at what I said, not why I said it. They're going to look at the topic that was being talked about, not why we're talking about it. And that's what you miss. A lot of times people will try to copy another man's game or script. And so, I'm going to say what he said. I'm going to ask that question because that question is going to make it deep, not me. Not I am the deep thinker, so the conversation is going to be deep. Well, I'm going to ask the deep question, but you're not deep, so you cannot follow it up. You cannot be deep around all sides, and you cannot leave her wanting more. You cannot play with the mind and press a button here and get her to see herself in a different way and reintroduce her to a version of herself, because you're only trying to be and sign up to what society made you to be. You're missing out on the deepest part of seduction. So then, like I said, you look at those conversations, and from the surface, you may look at it and be like, oh, it's nothing, or whatever. It's just an average conversation. And guess what? A lot of times, how I get y'all too. I'll get on there, and it may have to do with my interest level as well. And I'll get on there, and I'll be like this. Or I may be like this. Oh, however I'm sitting, right? And I may use my demeanor to give off this sense of boringness, this sense of dead. And honestly, deep down inside, low key, I might not even care that much anyway. So that just comes from that. But I'm showing y'all that no matter how the delivery of the speaker is, I can still hit. I can still hit that deep part of the conversation I want to hit. No matter how boring it appears from on the outside. No matter how lackadaisical I seem. I know how to tap into a person, not just a woman's core. I know how to hit her here. In a simple conversation, just a simple talk.
Give that another shot.
Or even in different ways. In playful ways, sarcastic ways, witty ways, serious ways, spiritual ways. All these different ways to play and to hit that chord, to where that reaction of the woman is that. That's where a lot of time y'all don't even catch on until y'all hear the woman's verbal reaction. And she says that, oh, I really enjoyed that conversation, or that he had a great conversation, or this was that. Y'all
Bro,
will
I
never
can
catch
get
on
it,
until
bro.
then because y'all don't see the why. Y'all don't see, y'all even you might have to just close your eyes and just listen, not even look at the conversation. But then even then, the eye contact, or just whatever the case may be, is all playing into the seduction. Me smiling, me shrugging something off, me looking away. I told y'all, everything counts. Everything counts. And to the untrained eye, you know what I think of when I think of this? I think of football, right? And I'm talking about American football because I know we got a lot of overseas people. And like I said, if you're woman watching this, all of this counts too. Even if you're a man watching this, all this counts too. Any relationship that you have in your life. Because what a person will do is when you make that, when you're able to play with people uniquely and fluently, and you can tap into that part of them, they will never, ever place that mark that you
Give
made.
that another shot.
Ever. That can help you business wise. Listen, any situation that you can think of, opportunities will come to your door. I even credit how I get paid to go to school through seduction. I even credit, listen, but we can get into that for the later part of the video because I was about to make an example how the seduction is happening everywhere all the time, but to the untrained eye, you do not see it. So let's take football game, for example, right? American football, like
fingers, bro.
Tom Brady type of football, right? If you are just, you don't even watch, let's just say you're a fan. But fans watch football. What I meant to say is, you're not like a football player. You don't have football IQ. So you just watch, you just enjoying the game, the crowd, the winning, the losing, the celebrating, whatever the case may be. You're so caught into the celebration and the game itself, the show of it, that you don't understand how through different levels. You have the level of the fan, the viewer. You have the level of the player. You have the level of the coach. And then to give you more specific, let's say an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator or a wide receiver coach. So let's zoom into this, right, in football. And to understand through this metaphor of how seduction is happening and you can only see it on the level that you can see it on. So from the fan or viewer, if a player catches the ball, somebody throws, I'm not even going to use titles of Q, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, because then people are going to start getting confused. A player throws another player the ball, that player scores. The player who caught the ball and scored, from a viewpoint of a fan goes, oh, yes, he was wide open. Yes, he caught it. Yeah, he got good hands. But then you go into the levels of coach, offensive coordinator, wide receiver, whatever the case may be, right? They're going to see so many different things that you don't even know to look out for. They're going to say, look how he got off the line of scrimmage. Look at how he used his hands to get off of his defender. Look how he ran into the zone coverage a certain way to get open in that certain spot. Look how he took 3 steps inward and then made it go this way. And look how he used his eyes. You see, because guess what? In order for that player to catch the ball and get open and score, a lot happened. You may just see run, catch, score. But guess what? There's footwork. There's there's hand-feet coordination. There's the amount of steps he took in order to get him to run his route. There's what his defender did and how he might have read the defense. There's what he knew he had to do for his certain route in order to catch it a certain way to be open in that certain spot. I say this to say, even if you know nothing about sports, there's so much more to the game. And don't tell yourself, just because I don't know what's going on doesn't mean that there's nothing going on. And just because it's too much, I love when people say things like this. That's too much. You're thinking too deeply. You're thinking too much. That's where you lose, because that's where you stop. And that's where the other person goes above and beyond. And the next thing you know, what you thought was too much, you're thinking too deep, overthinking, you're seeing things way too deeply, you're making it bigger than it is. That's exactly why you're staring at the wall. You don't even see what's happening. accepting what is.
Make sure you tremolo on the
And this
G
is
string.
where a true master of
Got
seduction
some of it down.
when
Now see if you
they
can
go
play that tremolo
above
just a
and
little
deeper
bit.
further than
Sounds like
anyone
you're on
else
the
can
wrong
go,
string. Make
or
sure you
anyone
tremolo
else
on the G
tries to go
string.
or dares to go. So then when you are the type of person who does this, not just want to mentor, but it may even come out in how you dress. Look at Prince's example. It may, like, a lot of times you catch between these seductive people, it starts off with the mind, how deep they are spiritually or internally, whatever the case may be. But it can manifest itself in certain ways. It can manifest itself in his mannerisms and playing into the opposite. I might dress in a bad way to strategically play with how you conceptualize me as a man and then shock you on the other end when you see how I am internally or how I think. So catch. Listen, I never, especially if you're in the audience, you're the dope, one of the members of the audience. There's no such thing as too much, too deep, or overdoing it here. When you're in the dojo, that's what we pride ourselves on. We go deeper, further, think deeper, and see further, and just understand more. That's what I want this community to be unique for. Going above and beyond, going and beneath and deeper than anyone has ever
You're
gone.
ready to apply this to a
Can't tell me I'm going too deep or I'm thinking too deep. I do it all the time. You can't tell me I'm overthinking. I'm thinking all the time. Should I even say that when I go to sleep, my dreams and all this crazy? I say my brain never gets a break. But I don't say this to say, to brag or to flex. This is just me knowing who I am. This is just who I am. It is what it is. And the difference between, say, me who I am and a version of me which is not seductive and cannot create that addictive feeling that a true seduced person has to their seducer, that addictive feeling, that addictive pull, that addictive attraction. It's a feeling of, I can't get this anywhere. And even for this fact that, imagine that I mess with a girl and she interacts with me and me and her don't work out and she messes with other guys. Do you know they will only remind her of me? Even me and her don't end up being together. And even if that other person that she deals with, or for example, like I said, more than women, more than work examples or whatever, your imprint, you may be replaced physically. She may get another guy. She may have sex with another person. She may whatever. But here, when you got it here, in that role, for example, we can many different CEOs of Apple, but there is no Steve Jobs.
The A string.
No Steve Jobs. When you
It's
hear it,
too different.
different.
This one, you need to mute the low E string.
Never take it. Listen, and this is not from a sense of ego, which yourself needs to know that you're not replaceable, that you're irreplaceable, or that you cannot be replaced in order to give yourself a sense of comfort. This is not for the ego. This is merely for me explaining why seduction has everything to do with standing in who you are and the uniqueness of who you are, and why, from the standpoint of another person, and the crowd metaphor I used in the beginning, where I said if the crowd runs this way and you're standing still, and the crowd goes that way and you're standing still, and that is mysterious and fascinating and alluring as we looked into the definition of these words, right? That's where you win.
Okay.
I'm just explaining and breaking down seduction. But if you've seen other videos of mine, this is not your first time watching me, or if it is, I do this for so many different topics. I went into this on fasting. I went into this on the algorithm, psychology, charisma, charm. I just like to go deep and explain things and talk about. I listen, and I love to do it in so many different ways that. This is where I tell y'all, as me as a content creator, this is where my real passion is, to be honest. I don't have a passion in entertainment aspect. That's just me honestly having fun. And I'm always having fun with what I do because I love what I do. But I love, listen, I love the deep dives, man. I love the game. I love the hustle. And what you have to summarize is, if you have more questions, drop it in the comments. You want to get one-on-one call with me, go to the Patreon. But I say that to say, you're not seductive because you're not yourself. You're trying to do what you think is seductive. You're trying to do what you think is seduction. And not playing with what it is. You're thinking about. I even hate even explaining this part right here because I want this video to marinate on you. I don't want you to look for one particular sentence or line that stuck out to you for the answer. I want you to see the bigger picture. I want you to see everything that's going on. Even if this video didn't make sense to you the first time you watched it, exactly. That's where you went. In the land of confusion, in the land of the unknown, in the airy mysteriousness of what is. And you live there, you play into that. So much so, you can comfortably pull others into that. You can comfortably introduce someone to themselves and step them through, sort of hold their hands into themselves. Because you live it. This is where you live, this is where you stay, this is your home. This whole mind confusing things. This is who you are, where you stand. The master seduction. Opportunities are everywhere. You can even set yourself up, or you can even let something happen naturally.
Using that same
I say this to say,
you can add one more note.
bring that up what I said before. You can fuck and
Still
never be
making that same
intimate.
C power chord shape. Add your pinky to the fifth
So,
fret of the G string.
It's
This
more
is an
than
octave
just
higher than the low
sex.
note chord, so it just
And why is
reinforces
that?
it.
Because anybody can have sex. But the level of intimacy you can go to as an individual and the impact and the connection that you can share with
This
that
one has
individual
3 notes.
is what
Play the
will
third
make
fret
that
of the A
sex
string
a
with the
fantasy
first
to her
finger.
or
Play
him.
the fifth fret of the D
It will
string
make
with
that
the third
sex
finger.
a dream
And then
to
play
that
the
person.
fifth fret of the G string with your
And I
pinky.
switch to her or him interchangeably.
Using
Like I
that
said,
same
this
basic
could
power
go for
chord shape,
anybody.
you can add one more note to get
But
a
guess
slightly
what?
beefier sound.
In order to be able to
Still
introduce
making
someone
that
to
same
themselves
C
and say,
power
all right,
chord
what's your
shape.
fantasies, what you
Add your
desire,
pinky to the
and
fifth
get
fret
them
of
to
the
try
G
those
string.
three things with you.
This is an octave
There has to
higher
be
than
an
the low
internal
note of the
comfort
chord, so it just kind of
that when they see that
reinforces
they can do this with
Let's
you,
just
they're not
try
being
that.
judged. They're not being used and manipulated. There's no ulterior motive. There's no internal ego and all that kind of. You can't fake this stuff. You can sell dreams, lie, and cap, but she'll eventually see you is, she'll hate you, resent you, you'll break her, and all this is all the damage that you do to the world, trying to just
You don't have to worry
get
about fingering that one.
fake circumstance or a temporary circumstance, not realizing that a lot of my interactions
pretty
with
much-
relationships with women, they don't end bad. No, listen, I
Excellent.
don't have any beef with women. I don't like any woman I've messed with in the past, even the woman that I go back to where I was that guy who was lying and manipulating and doing all the whole stuff. Even them, because they were able to still see the side of me of who I was, they know there was no malice in my heart. And guess what? There is sort of a lifetime open door that you have when you are that genuine of a person, because they will always be able to still, that connection never leaves. If you can connect with them here, that line is still there.
Here's a bit of
A month, a year, 2 years, 3 years,
You can alternate
a day
string
later,
up and down.
and they
Or
will
just
still
use
all
all
for
downstrokes
your
if you want a
connection,
more
and
aggressive
it'll be
feel.
out of positivity. It'll be out of love, not spite and bitterness. When I see a person killing me, wanna wear that outside. Wanna wear that everywhere they go. Wanna have that monkey on their back. Walking outside and such hate me. Man, she did me dirty and I did that. All that way. At this point, this is beyond seduction. This is into yourself, your light, your person as a spirit part. That shit weighs heavy on you. You can't. It's unnecessary. Let that shit go and live a new life.
Let's try that again.
Taekwondo out of the to Saturn, leaving the solar system and let you even know what it says. Big.
Here's that riff again. Play it now. Let's try that again. Here's that riff again. Here's that riff again. Let's give that another shot.
That shit go hard though. Huh? I forgot how the song went, I ain't gonna lie, but I'm finna say video clip though. Anyway, I'm out there, bitch. I gotta go.